This is part of my quick and easy series, and I'm going to be making, just give me a second, what's called Woon Chai Koh in Chinese. It's literally translated, it means a little bowl cake. And this is one of my breakfast favorites growing up in Malaysia. Essentially, it uses very few ingredients, so it's going to be something you shouldn't have any trouble replicating wherever you are. But they are essentially rice flour cakes. And we're going to make the cake, steam it, and then we're going to make the topping that goes on it, okay? I've got some rice flour here, and if you've been following my video series, you know I use this a lot. I should create a cookbook exclusively for how to use rice flour. Now, I'm using about 300 grams of this. I'm not measuring anything as usual. And to that, I'm adding, well, I've got about 1.2 liters of water. And to that, I'm adding a couple of tablespoons of tapioca flour, another easily obtainable ingredient at Asian grocery stores, and just a pinch of salt. And that would be my baby in the background. Now I want to cook this into a porridgey mixture, and in the meantime, just to my side here, I've got a steamer going. And what you will need as well are little ceramic bowls, okay? No, it doesn't have to be ceramic, but these are my bowls. And if you like, you can use these little saucers as well. This dish essentially uses the same ingredients as a dish called, down in the southern states and in Singapore, called chwee kueh, okay? Chwee kueh, whatever. But same kind of deal, except chwee kueh usually is made in these little bowls, the smaller ones, the kind of like sauces that you would use in Asian restaurants for condiments, like soy sauce and chili sauce and that sort of stuff. Okay, now I'm just starting to stir this. In the meantime, I just want to show you this. This is from Thailand. It's a minced preserved radish. A lot of Malaysian recipes, a lot of Malaysians, in fact, when they see preserved radish, they buy these Chinese ones that are basically from China. They're about this size, and they have to soak them because they're extremely salty, and then they have to like finely cut them up into small little granules. But if you buy one of these, like I said, look out for these. This one's got a yellow print on it. There are others with a blue print, but let's see what the brand is. It just says preserved radish, and it's salted, and it's got a little bit of sugar in it as well. So that will save you the trouble of having to dice it up. And because it's got like some sugar content in it, it kind of balances out the saltiness in the radish as well. Okay, now the reason why I'm cooking this is because if I were to steam the batter straight in these molds, you're going to find that like they're going to start to separate during the steaming process, and you're going to get a thicker like under layer and a really thin upper layer. So every time you see a Malaysian recipe, whether it's sweet or savory, and it involves rice flour, and it involves steaming, that's the reason why. You want to cook it into a porridgey mixture. Half cook it, doesn't have to be evenly thick. Usually it's not. Okay, so in the meantime, I've got these molds here. I'm going to boil them. I've got some Caratina red palm oil here. Just brush them with oil. Okay, now the rice flour batter is done. It's lumpy, but it doesn't matter. It will even out once you steam it. Okay? And the background noise, of course, is Noah, in case you're wondering. So just brush a few of these. Now you just want to transfer the mixture into these bowls, level it out a bit, and steam them about 20 minutes. So all that I've put in here is just the rice flour, tapioca flour, a bit of salt, and water. Okay, now I'm going to steam this for 20 minutes. Let me just do a couple more. And while that's steaming, we're going to make the topping. And my topping, so we're going to steam this. Now my topping, I've got actually 2 different toppings to go on it, and you use both of them, or you can use just the one. And I'm just going to find a saucepan for this, okay? Okay, I've got a pan here, and what I want is to heat up some of my caroteno oil in here. You don't have to use caroteno oil. I like it because it's healthy. It does give it a kind of like a yellow hue to it, so it'll look a little bit different. Okay, so I've stuck about half a packet of these. I think these you can pick up for about $1 at Asian grocery stores. But like I said, this one's from Thailand. So if you're trying to hunt it down, your best bet might be, if you can't find it in a regular Chinese grocery store, you might try and find it in a store that caters to a lot of Thai nationals or something similar. Okay, so I've got the radish going, and to that I'm going to add garlic, minced garlic here. Okay, fair bit of it. I'm going to put about 4 tablespoons. And I just want to fry this up till the garlic is nice and aromatic and light brown in color and crispy. Okay, so this is going to take a few minutes. And while that is going, my other sauce is made out of gula melaka, unusually enough. I'm pretty sure that's not how they used to serve it when I was growing up in Malaysia. I was too young to learn how to make it. It was something that I concocted after I came to Australia. And I figured that, you know, well, the Malaysian version of Woon Chai Koh, these little rice bowl cakes, has a dark sauce that goes over it. In hindsight, I think the dark sauce is something soy-based, but back when I was experimenting with recipes as you know, someone who wasn't into food and who hadn't actually adopted, like, you know, the whole food thing sort of thing, I kind of thought I liked a sweet kind of like aftertaste to this dish. So I used gula melaka, which is essentially palm sugar, Malaysian palm sugar, although this one's actually made in Indonesia. And I've always said, Indonesia, whatever differences you have, I like your palm sugar, okay? The best palm sugars I've found so far in Australia have been the ones from Indonesia, okay? So now you can leave me alone for 5 minutes. Okay, so this is frying up very nicely. And what you want to do with the palm sugar, you want to dissolve it in water and basically boil it in a saucepan with some water so it's dissolved. So I've got that. And so to the palm sugar logs, I've got 2 of them here. I'm going to put about 2 cups of water. You just got to keep in mind, after you've boiled it, basically you want to boil it till it's fully dissolved. And if it, you know, when it cools down, it's going to thicken up a little bit. If you find it's too thick, just add some more water and boil it again. You know, because it might be hard to pour. But it's not really like an exact science as to how much water, and because it all depends on how long you boil it for and how strong your stove is and that sort of stuff. Okay, basically, you know, even like how big this, you know, how big the saucepan is that you're using. Okay, so this is going along quite nicely. I'm going to take this off the heat and I'm going to boil the gula melaka, and this is probably going to take another 5 minutes or so. And the rice flour cakes, like I said, is going to take about 20 minutes. So we'll come back and I'll show you what it looks like and how to assemble it at the end. Okay, so we're back. It's been about 15 minutes or so, and this is just about completely dissolved. It's very runny at the moment. Like I said, it will thicken up when it cools down. So I'll turn this off. I'll get rid of the stove. And I've taken the rice flour cake out of the steamer. And what you would want to do, let me just try and get something. It's still very hot. What you want to do is just get a knife and cut around the edge. And then you want to do a crisscross section pattern through it. And then you're just going to scrape it and pop that onto a bowl. Like this. Okay, it's a little bit soft because it's still cold. What am I talking about? It's a little bit soft because it's still hot. And to that, I'm going to add the radish and garlic topping. And I'm going to pour some of this gula melaka sauce over it. Okay, there you go. Just let me break it up a little bit so you can get a better picture of it. So this is how they would serve it in Malaysia. Now, if you're using bigger molds, you want to steam them like for about 20 minutes. If you're using these dinky little ones, just 10 minutes will do. Okay? So this is what it looks like. And that's what we call Woon Chai Koh. Like I said, you know, very quick and easy. Something you can whip up with just a handful of ingredients that are easily obtainable. So give it a go and selamat makan.